What's up, everybody? ArrgThePirate here, and today we're playing Ullr. Now, a ton of people have asked me to play him, and guys, I'm terrible at the switch stance gods, and you'll see that here in a little bit. I just cannot wrap my hand around it. But let's go over his build. Now, I'm gonna start out with Aegis, Charged Morningstar, and a Chalice. So, I've got kind of a different build than I normally go for. And then I'm gonna build into Transcendence, Warrior Tabby, Hydra's Lament, the Crusher, Brawler's Beatstick, Titan's Bane. Then I've got Wards and Blink Rune. I don't even think I remember to put out Wards. Oh, I'm terrible. But this isn't, we have a pretty good match. So, let's go over his kit. Now, I'm gonna go kind of out of order with his kit because I think you kind of have to with Ullr. The most important thing in his kit is his 4. And it's not much of an ultimate, it's a stance change. So you can either wield your bow or your axes, and you get this ability from the very beginning. When you wield your bow, you have increased attack speed, and it's 5% every level. And when you have your axe out, you have increased physical lifesteal, and that's 5% every level. But you have to put a point in to get that. So right now, even though I can switch stances, I don't have that increased attack speed or lifesteal. Alright, next up we have his passive, Weapon Master. When Ullr uses an ability in either stance, the cooldowns in the opposite stance are reduced. So if you do that typical 1-1-3 combo where you throw your axe, hit them with your 1, and then drop an arrow on them, your axe will be reduced by an additional 2 seconds because you use 2 abilities in your bow. It gets complicated, but if you need to play them once, and then you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. But first up, we have his 1 bladed arrow. Ullr fires a bladed arrow in a line, dealing damage, and it passes through all targets. If you're in your melee stance, though, Ullr throws an axe in a line, hitting a single target, dealing damage and stunning that target. So you've got a stun, but you can hit minions with this, guys. So be careful of that. Next up, we have 2 Expose Weakness. Ullr gains bonus physical power for 5 seconds if you're in ranged. If you're in melee, you get bonus movement speed. And, hey, this is awesome. It's a simple buff. You can use it to run away or catch up to somebody, or you can use it to crank out some more damage. And lastly, we have his 3 Hail of Arrows or Glory Bound. When you're in your ranged, Ullr fires a volley at a target location, dealing damage. Now, guys, this does take a while to get used to aiming. I miss so many abilities with Ullr. This is like my second match with him. He takes a little bit to get used to, guys. But if you are in your melee stance, you leap to a target location, dealing damage in an AoE upon arrival. And you'll see I actually use it, and I dive and end up going down. I start out so sloppy in the beginning of this match. But this is your escape if you're in your melee stance, or it's also an additional poke, which this build I'm going for is all about doing that ability damage. You know, I really want to be that burst damage dealer. Hit those enemies with your abilities to really crank out some damage, not concentrating on crit at all. I want my abilities to hit hard, not as much as my basic attacks. And Frank, I'm working on that video, my dude, but Ullr is really, I feel he does much better as an ability damage god because he can use so many abilities. You have access to a lot more abilities with Ullr than you would with other gods. So building not crit with him works very, very well. Now, with this build, I did talk about that combo a second ago, but with this build, I would highly recommend working on that combo. You get into your melee stance, hit your 1, which that's that stun, follow that up with your 1 and then your 3 in range stance, and you'll crank out absolute tons of damage. Ullr does a ton of damage, guys. And since you do kind of have more abilities than other gods, you are capable of a ton of burst damage. And if you can master Ullr, he's so good. And I would highly recommend, if you want to get into Ullr, definitely play with him for a while. Don't just play 1 or 2 matches and go, oh, I got this, like I did here. But we do get an awesome double kill there. You know, hey, we're starting off pretty strong. We start making our mistakes here in a little bit, but we're doing pretty good right now. Now, my Ymir is heading back, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna poke this wave. The enemy shows up, and man, I've got chalices. I'm just terrible, guys. I'm just absolutely terrible. We end up getting our first death there. Oh, feels bad, but it did give us enough to pick up Transcendence. You know, that works. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some mana potion, and, you know, I'm gonna start building my boots. Hey, well, we needed a die to go back faster anyways, right? Oh, feels bad, man. That was just lazy. Now, from here, we got to get back in the lane. We haven't done a very good job of picking up our buffs, and, you know, as the ADC, I could probably change that just by heading over to certain areas, but, you know, I'm kind of following the pace of Ymir, because Ymir, you know, with his CC, I want to make sure I'm there to follow that up, and you see, we're able to delete them. You know, we're doing work, guys. We're definitely doing work. 2-1 and 2, you know, and the death we did have was just a very, very, very careless death. You know, we shouldn't have died there, but, you know, that's us being terrible. And, you know, hey, that's alright. Now, Cab is just defending this, and see, right here, we could go for buffs. Right here would be a perfect time to pick up some buffs, and, you know, even steal their buffs. But, you know, we're kind of staying under tower, no problem. Get a little poke on this tower, but it's not anywhere close to enough to actually take it down, but we'll just keep this pressure up. You know, we've done a very good job of forcing them back, you know, keeping them out of lane. Their support is, you know, at a very big level at disadvantage, and that's great. That's exactly what we want to do. Let's just keep them, keep the pressure up. If we're not going for buffs, let's keep the pressure up. Now, when you stay pushed up this far, it's very important to keep an eye on the jungle entrances, because you can get rotated on very, very easily. So it is important to, you know, just maintain, keep an eye on that, you know, kind of keep an eye on just where the enemies are. You can see we don't have vision in mid lane, so we don't know where they are. We don't have vision on the jungler, so it's very possible that they might be heading over, but guys, we're shutting them down. We just took out that Cab. You know, that's awesome. I'm trying to figure out how to use my abilities correctly, but we're doing great. We're keeping a ton of pressure up. You know, I definitely want to get stacks of trans on. I want to get my Transcendence on as quickly as possible, so we're just maintaining that. And when I'm not going in on things, you know, I try to stay in my escape stance or my melee stance, so I do have that escape. And you see here, I went in for that jungle buff, and I tried to stun Fenrir. He's CC immune at that point. That was just poor choice on my part, and we end up going down there. And you can see, this is one reason why I want my Guardian with me whenever I'm picking up those buffs. You know, if we would have both went over there, we might have been able to kill Fenrir, but since I was half dead by the time I even got close to Ymir, you know, it didn't work. And, you know, that it just is what it is. Luckily, my team's able to rotate over. Ymir takes out that Fenrir. That's awesome. And, you know, hey, we ended up sacrificing ourselves for a death there, but, you know, no problem at all. We're starting pretty strong. 3-2 and 3. You know, we definitely have way more deaths than I would like, but you know, that's really not that big of a deal as long as we can maintain positive and we're not getting out farmed. That's the big thing. Now from here, I get into lane and we kind of just keep the pressure up. Ymir starts backing. Okay, I'm backing off. You know, I'm not messing with that. I'm gonna go ahead and drop Void so that way he has Void whenever he shows up. Pick up my damage buff, and then you see I go to the back of the tower. I'm not going to go into the front of the tower, guys, and that kept me safe. If I would have went in the other way, I surely died. Now, their RTO, whatever her name is, we miss our stun on her. Oh, we could have taken her out, but, you know, no problem. I'm low, but hey, I've got a couple of chalices. Let's go ahead and just pop them. We'll heal up. We can stay in lane. It's definitely not the end of the world. We're able to get some poke on her. Unfortunately, Ymir misses that ult there, but that's quite all right. We're gonna go in, keep poking them. You know, we've got quite a bit of damage on all of them, and you can see I'm focusing on the tank because that's who's taking the damage. It did allow Cab to, you know, just basic attack like crazy, but wasn't hitting me, and we're getting damage on those gods. That's really what we want. I'm gonna back up there. Ymir stayed in, but you know, that's quite all right. I just want to stay safe. We need to take out these cab little spawn thing, ward, whatever they are. But we'll do that once we get into the engagement. We're going to be able to take out that RDO, whatever her name is. That's great. I take out those cab spawn whatever things from here. We're just going to continue to keep this pressure up. You know, we've done a great job of keeping that pressure up. You know, we've got our trans online. You know, we're doing a great job of farming. You know, that's exactly what we want. Now I am going to keep this cab poked. Hopefully keep him in lane, and, you know, maybe Ullr's kind of, or our Ymir's kind of rotating around. So I'm thinking, hey, he's going to dive or something like that. I'm just going to continue poking him. That way he stays in lane, very, very unhealthy staying in lane, and that's what I want. At this point, I've got to back off. You know, we kept him in lane quite a bit longer than, you know, he normally would have, and this is going to allow us to go in on this tower, and, you know, their RDO, she's here. We delete her. You know, she doesn't have that follow-up from Cab because, again, we kept him from backing. That's huge. We're going to then go in on this tower, and awesome plays. We're able to take this tower down. This is great. And once we down that tower, turn and get out. Now, since our Ymir is here, since we're both very, very healthy, Cab's by himself, we might be able to go in on him. I'm going to switch my stance, stun him. He's gone. He's gone. We just absolutely delete him. And you can see the power of our Ullr. You know, even though Ymir followed up with some more CC, just getting that stun and having free poke on a god, that's huge. From here, we're both going to back. Now, once I do back, I'm able to put on that Hydras, and I'm going to head back kind of towards my lane. You know, I don't need to be in my lane. I'm going to clean up that jungle camp, maybe pick up some buffs, and we just get back to the lane. Kind of push it, but now's the time we can really start rotating. We're kind of out of our laning phase. I'm going to head to mid lane. Poseidon's here going in on our T1. We miss that 3, but you see that damage, guys. You can see with Hydras, with trans on, oh man, we're cranking out the damage, guys, and we're able to absolutely delete that Poseidon. You know, that's great. Making that very, very quick rotation, you know, that's awesome. And, you know, someone wanted to surrender, but guys, we're not doing bad. We're not doing bad at all. I'm gonna end up going in onto this the RDO. We end up taking her out, and then I'm gonna dip out. You know, that was very, very reckless. But with our Ymir there, he can definitely peel for me. I'm gonna go ahead and jump through towards the tower, and then we're gonna rotate around because that Cab was following me. We're gonna rotate on that Cab. He hits him with the stun. I hit him with the stun. He's gone. He's gone. That's awesome. Awesome play. You know, awesome follow-up with our Ymir. That was just great. That was a great play. And from here, we're going to get this lane shoved. Now, since we really are kind of out of our laning phase, let's go ahead and start rotating. Let's help out our team elsewhere. And, you know, we don't need to stay in our lane. We definitely don't, and you can see we kind of go in, or we head to mid, we're able to clean that up a little bit, and we're going to actually rotate all the way over to the solo lane. You know, we do need to get back to our lane unless we want them to have a free tower, but that's quite alright. Now, their Odin, he's hanging out there. I'm trying to figure out what stance I want to be in, and we're going to go ahead, head into this Odin, and if you see, I waited for him to jump, get that shield off of him. We're able to stun him, take him out. Awesome play. And, you know, from here, hopefully we can shove into this tower a little bit, and maybe even take this tower out. I go ahead and start tanking it. Like, let's get this tower taken down. And then I'm not exactly sure right here. I fat fingered my ward. I don't know why I did that. And that's why I wasn't doing damage there. What's going on? But I've got to get out. I have to get out. Let's go ahead and back. We took down that T1. You know, that's great. I'm going to get back to my lane before we lose our T1. Now, unfortunately, I'm just not fast enough, and we're actually going to lose our T1 there. Yeah, you know, it is unfortunate. Our jungle did head over, and, you know, this RDO, she's low. We miss our stun again. You know, she's got that run fast. Oh, feels bad. We miss our 3 because we're terrible, but we got a little bit of poke. Hopefully, we can take her down. And, again, I switch stances, able to get my stun on, and then we finish her off in melee stance. You know, that awesome. Awesome, great play. Fenrir shows up, but it's just too late. I head over, but, you know, I'm just too far away from that. He's got such great movement speed. You know, just don't chase that. Let's get the lane pushing. Hopefully we can go into tower and actually make something happen. Now, this play happened, or, you know, this was able to happen because the enemy team stayed in after they downed our T1. And remember, guys, back off once you get a T1. Just back off when you get a tower, unless you have a huge rotation. Now, there, Fenrir goes in on me, and we're able to evade him. Oh, that's awesome. And I'm going to end up starting to take the tower. You know, no problem. We're able to absolutely delete him, and then we end up going in on the tower. Hopefully we can get this tower before they show up. I end up hitting their RDO, but no problem. Let's take that tower out. I'm very, very low, and you can see, this is where I'm talking about, guys. I'm switching stances, trying to figure out how to jump. We end up getting out of that. I am being chased, though. That's why I threw Blink on. We're able to Blink on out of that. Oh, awesome. Awesome. You know, guys, beads, I didn't really feel beads was all that necessary because the only god that has something that I really need to beads out of is Fenrir. And, you know, yeah, we haven't seen a whole lot of you know, we haven't seen him just an absolute lot. So I figured Blink was great, and you can see there, it very well might have saved my life in that situation. Now from here, we're going to head to Gold Fury, and, you know, that was a perfect time to pick up gold. We got a couple of them down. Gold would be very, very easy to pick up, and sure enough, our Anubis heads over. We're able to take him out. Guys, I'm learning the names. It's just, man, there's so many gods. You gotta wait a second. But we head into this fight and got, the stuns. They didn't stand a chance. RDO and their Poseidon just deleted. And then we should be able to shove this lane now. With 3 of them down, you know, we have vision on the other 2, or we're about to have vision on the other 2. You know, Odin's in mid, Fenrir's in our solo lane. Let's go ahead and head towards this Phoenix, but since our Ymir peeled off, I'm not going into a Phoenix by myself. It's just not happening. So, let's head over to him. Let's follow him up. It's better to get kills as a team than it is to, you know, solo push a tower, something like that. You know, I want to help support the team. We're way, way out of the laning phase. And you can see we have to maintain our lanes, though. We just lost a T2 for absolutely free. There's no reason we should be losing T2s for nothing. And that's kind of an issue with this match in general. We do have a lot of towers that fall for free, and it feels bad, man. But hey, no problem. Now we do kind of go in on this Fenrir. You know, Thor heads over to him. I'm doing my best to catch up to him, but he's got just such good escape. He's going to be able to get out. And with their Poseidon showing up, you know, it's best just to leave. Now, Cab is pushing our T2 on our duo lane. And you can see no one actually went over to our solo lane to deal with that. It's unfortunate. Cab shows up and, guys, we're Ullr, baby. Whoa, we're going to delete him. Sure enough, we're able to take him out. Feels great. And you can see that burst damage. Using those abilities, we do a ton of damage with our abilities. So you kind of want to build that way. If we were building crit, we might have been able to take him, but, you know, it's all more with just your basic attacks. That's the real difference. And, you know, like I said, I really feel that Ullr does a great job with his abilities, and you can see we're able to take out that Poseidon as well. We're making some great plays. The Fenrir's here. We're going to try to catch up to him. You know, he is able to get out, though. That is unfortunate, and we're getting into this fight. Our RDO, she's pushing that lane. You know, hey, maybe we can make something happen. This is great. You can see I'm getting into the wrong stances. I'm doing that thing again. I'm trying to get a stun to help my team with that fight, but we are going to be able to dip out of this. The switching stances, guys, it's something that I'm gonna definitely have to try to get used to. Now from here, my team did a great job of cleaning that up. So let's go ahead and pick up Fire Giant. We've got them on staggered deaths. This is great. Let's pick up Fire Giant. Cab is going in on our T2 in our duo lane, but that's quite all right. I'm going to head over there as quickly as I can, and, you know, maybe we can prevent this from going down. he got the T2. But, you know, we saved the Phoenix. And that's great. We traded a T2 for Fire Giant. But, you know, hey, that's okay. But you see, Cab is now pushing our solo lane, so we got to be aware of that. And we get into this big fight here in mid. And this is one thing, you know, their Cab is not showing up to these fights. He's pushing lanes, which, you know, hey, they're doing great with the lanes, but we're getting fed. We're getting very, very fed, and we're working as a team much more than they are. You know, they've kind of been, their Cab has always been pushing lanes instead of going in on you know, getting in these team fights, and that's putting them at a disadvantage. We're going in on this tower. I really wish Ymir would have stayed there, you know, let Thor do his thing, and, you know, we end up taking them out. We could have got that tower earlier, though, but it doesn't matter. We should be able to go into this tower and take it out. Unfortunately, Ymir decides to back right here, and I'm gonna do everything I can to take this tower out, but, you know, I'm worried about minions, and we're gonna end up backing off and not taking that T2 out. If Ymir would have stayed, we definitely would have got a T2 there, but, you know, is what it is, guys. Sometimes you can't play for your teammates. Now, even though I have Fire Giant, I'm not going to risk my life staying at that tower. Even though it was just Cab, I'm not going to risk my life for it. And then, you know, hey, we're able to peel off. You see Cab gets out of position. I tried to use my blink there, and I ended up using my... I'm just misclicking like crazy. But, you know, hey, we're able to take Cab out. Ardio's out of position with my team collapsing on her, but... deleted. Just absolutely deleted. This is great. Now, hopefully, we can actually get that mid lane tower. Their Odin shows up. If we're able to take him out, that's going to be a GG, you know? And sure enough, we go in on him. You can see the damage of Ullr, guys. Oh, it's awesome. This guy rocks. If you can land those skill shots and you kind of get that combo down, that it's huge. Now our Ardio, she's going in and taking that tower. That's what we wanted. We wanted someone to take that tower. Sure enough, she did. We're able to take them out, no problem at all. Let's kind of shove this lane a little bit. Let's keep that pressure up, and hopefully we can make something else happen. But our Ymir said, hey, let's go to the solo lane. And even though our solo lane is pushed all the way to our Phoenix, we're going to go in on this tower and take this tower down. You know, this is great. And, you know, we're taking it. We take two T2s, you know, back to back like that. That's awesome. We finally are winning the tower game, and hopefully we can just keep up these awesome plays. I actually go back to base so I can deal with the Phoenix. I don't want our Phoenix to fall. And so I'm going to back to base, deal with the Phoenix, and then I'm going to back to base again, actually put on some items. Now, once I do put on Titan's Bane, I'm able to... Yeah, now guys, you can buy the potions. If you just double click them, you'll drink them right away instead of having to sell an item. I just forgot about that because I'm terrible. And we head into that Ymir. You know, if Ymir would have turned around, we probably would have been able to do something there, but he just ran past me. I should have got out of that situation faster, and you can see Poseidon one-shot me. Feels bad, man. Just feels bad, but hey, hopefully my team can clean that up. You know, we definitely lost that team fight. If they can just hold off and let us spawn in, we'll be fine. Now, I'm gonna kind of let this play out because you might be able to see, you know, hey, my team does a great job of, you know, taking these enemies out. You can see Cab is caught out of position again because he's pushing lanes. He's not involved in these team fights. We're gonna go in onto this Ardio, and, you know, I'm thinking, hey, with three of us here and my team rotating, let's go in. Let's take her out. Sure enough, we're able to get some damage on, but again, Poseidon, oh, he hurts. That was bad. You know, I went in, I started frontlining. I'm not a frontline god, and sure enough, we get taken out. But hey, my team is able to just clean that up. You know, that's huge. That is absolutely huge. They get 4 of them down, and awesome play. You know, that's great job on their part. Now, once we spawn back in, again, we're going to just march down mid lane. You can see, I go ahead and say, hey, guys, help Anubis. You know, we've got our 2 tanks in mid, and our Anubis is kind of over by himself, and, you know, mages don't do a very good job of taking towers by themselves, and so, you know, you definitely, you know, having 2 tanks with that Anubis, that'd have been much better, but, you know, is what it is. Now, we get into this sloppy fight here. We have to get out of this situation. We need to get out as quickly as possible. I'm able to get a stun onto that Odin. We're able to poke him down, but we miss our one, which, you know, that's unfortunate. I'm gonna back up past the tower a little bit more. You know, if they take the tower, let them take it. I'm gonna go in on this RDO. We delete her. We absolutely delete her, and that's huge. I'm gonna head it back into the fight. You know, we were able to save the T2. You know, their RDO got a little too pushy and didn't have that follow-up. I'm not sure which should have happened better, but I would definitely say backing out of that tower would have been a much better choice, especially with the collapse that we had. I'm going to head over to our duo lane, get this lane pushing in the right direction, and guys, someone did ask me about setting lanes, and you can't... Setting lanes is not the same as in Paragon. You know, in Paragon, it was huge. Setting lanes was a big thing. In Smite, it's more about just shoving that lane. You can set it by taking out the ranged minions, but since the time that it takes for lanes to actually stack up and get to that huge amount and push down, it takes 5 minutes, which in Paragon, you know, it was a minute and a half, 2 minutes. So setting the lane is not near as important. Smite is much more about getting into those team fights, winning that team fight, and then capitalize on having that advantage. And if you see here, that's exactly what we're going to do in this mid lane. You know, that our solo lane is not quite set. It still has fire minions in it, but, you know, that's all right. We get into this team fight. You can see their Odin's here. You know, he uses his ultimate, but there's 4 of us to 3 of them, and we're able to just absolutely delete both that Odin and then follow up onto that onto that Fenrir. I'm able to get a stun on this RDO, but we're not quite able to capitalize. I get hit by Poseidon, and I ended up aegising. Oh, man, I'm getting better with my relics, guys. That's absolutely awesome. You know, but my team, they just go to town. They take out Poseidon. You know, that's all their damage dealers. Their RDO is definitely going to have to back to base. So I say, you know what? My team should be able to get the Titan. You know, you can see it being chipped down. I'm just gonna head over to the... I'm gonna head over to the solo lane, clean up these fire minions, just in case, you know, hey, they might not be able to take out the Titan. And if they're not able to, at least we're not losing this lane as well. You know, that it's very easy that those minions could take down the Phoenix, it being this low, but my team ends up wiping them, and hey, this is going to be GG. So I'm not there to actually delete the Titan with my team, but hey, we definitely had a huge impact on that last team fight, keeping the team on those staggered deaths. That's absolutely huge, guys. Great job to my team. You know, I think we did fairly well. 17, 4, and 13. You know, that seems like a very solid score for someone that's only played Ullr a couple of times. You know, awesome, and Ullr is just so good. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this Ullr guide. I really hope y'all enjoyed, and if you did, show me some love. Leave me a comment, think about subscribing, add me on Smite, guys. I'd love to play with y'all, and we do have our clan, Scurvy Dog Crew. You know, we're getting bigger and bigger, so I'd love for y'all to join, but as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.